Well friends, today we discovered together the Salpa Soleil 52, a boat with an overall length of 15.50 meters and a width of 4.80 meters. We will now take a walk on board to discover the setup, but as always, remember to leave a like on this video and comment with your opinion. Let's check it out together. At the stern there are two large platforms added to the hull, separated from the engines. Engines which in this case feature a triple Yamaha XTO engine with 450 horsepower each. But the minimum overall power starts from 1200 horsepower up to a maximum of 1800 with a triple of 600. Look here at the width of the stern platforms, which allows you to fully experience the rear bathing area, with two boarding ladders integrated inside the platforms, with relative double grab handle to facilitate exit from the water, inserted hidden inside. Obviously there is no shortage of mooring cleats installed here on deck, but we have two more installed here on the fiberglass coamings to have a safer and more protected mooring. Look at the walkable surface at the stern. Very large thanks to the bracket installed here in the rear area. And there is also this platform that covers the engine cockpit, which therefore allows you to walk easily from one side to the other, and therefore facilitate movement and experience both stern areas in a totally independent of each other. Furthermore, we have the presence of the shower with the relative mixer. We have two on both sides. In this way, each area, as I was telling you, is totally independent, while centrally at the stern we have the large sun deck. Sun deck which is also surrounded by a very comfortable handle handrail to give greater protection and comfort in the stern area, and can be extended further because through a system of ball rails with quick release it can slide towards the stern, and with the addition of a cushion increase its surface, and so we can fully experience the stern area and relax, because look here at how much space there is in this sun deck. Furthermore, underneath there is a further hatch which can be operated electrically from the control panel, or even home automation thanks to the smartphone, where all the safety equipment can be stored. Or in this case also the awnings present on board and the covers. And there is a further level below, which can also be raised via an electric piston, which allows access to the inside of the crew cabin. Crew cabin, which as you can see has two mirrored twin beds, and there are 3 steps to reduce the difference in height. And upon entering you see there is the central corridor which allows you to have a good support surface because look at the internal height here. Height which makes it fully livable when we are with the hatch open, since the installation of some blackout perforated curtains is also envisaged, which therefore allows us to ensure excellent air circulation, but at the same time preserve privacy within this cabin. Cabin which even when closed allows you to have an adequate height because look, I'm sitting on the cushions and I can stay comfortably inside. Obviously the closure is continuous with the upper panel, therefore it allows you to experience the interior with the hatch closed, since there are also 2 portholes positioned towards the stern. There is also a toilet. Look, underneath this hatch there is the dedicated toilet. And if we wanted to close ourselves from the inside, there is the appropriate switch here with the dedicated battery switch. In this way you simply need to press the button and ensure that the entire tailgate can be opened and closed. However, if we wanted to quickly exit from the inside, in an emergency we can unhook the hatches here or access the inside of the hatches here to be able to open all the various actuators and therefore completely unhook the electrical system and be able to open it manually. We return outside. We see the access which takes place via the double corridor. Corridor with dedicated door, gate that can obviously be opened comfortably. Here is the waste cap dedicated to emptying the tank of the black waters. And look here at the width of the corridor, which allows us to always remain in complete safety, because there is the fiberglass coaming that starts from the stern which gives us full protection. You see, it reaches up to the height of my knee, and the corridor remains wide for its entire extension. And here too we have the grab handle which makes it easier and gives us greater support. And the additional stern rail installed here on the fiberglass coaming also comes to our aid. We then enter inside. Here we find a first speaker for the onboard audio system, while here at the top there is the dedicated button panel to control the stern locker and the hatch for the equipment. Let's proceed towards the bow. Look, the layout features a double sofa facing each other with a central table, then a very large stern dinette, because look at how much space there is here. And furthermore, we can double the extension of the table by simply overturning it, and we can also adjust its height. In this way, each person can choose the layout they prefer. And on request, we can also lower the table to the height of the sofa and add an additional cushion to have a single large sun deck at the stern. And above all, we are well protected because look here, we also have the backrests which are fixed, so they give us greater safety inside the boat. At the bottom there is a large hatch with access to the technical compartment. Look here, by lifting it we can enter inside. And there is a very large technical locker where we can inspect all the onboard systems, and at the same time we can also stow the material, because look at how much space there is, and it is literally communicating from one side of the deck to the other. Furthermore, the sofas are stored inside. Inside the stern sofa, by lifting the seats, there are two watertight hatches to further increase the storage space. While underneath the bow sofa, there is dedicated accommodation for the life raft, with a quickly removable extraction hatch for any emergency. Look here at the profile of the fiberglass coamings on which the hardtop is installed. Very large hardtop which allows you to shade the entire central portion of the boat. Obviously, there is also the awning, which can slide electrically to reach the stern, and therefore have practically the entire boat in the shade, and therefore guaranteed comfort on board. Furthermore, the struts unload laterally onto the coamings as you can see, so visibility towards the stern is at maximum levels, and there is a single field of vision which is therefore perfectly monitorable, also excellent during mooring. We continue towards the bow. Inside the coamings there are two very comfortable and easily accessible storage pockets. While there is the kitchen block placed centrally with a single grab rail profile, very convenient for always providing complete safety at any point on the boat. Also look at the width of the walking surface, and here inside the hatch there is the hob. Induction hob, in this case with two burners, but on request we can customize it according to every need. And there is also a dedicated accommodation for the upper hatch. In this way it does not clutter up the support surface, and look here how large surface where objects can be placed. On the left side, however, there is the compartment dedicated to the sink. A sink also with the same system, look here, which therefore allows you to quickly place the hatch with dedicated accommodation and therefore be able to fully experience the kitchen outside. There is no shortage of hatches, shelves, drawers at the bottom, and there is also the double refrigerator present here on board. Look, with double surface, in this way we can always have fresh drinks on board exactly as if we were at home. The seat block is also made of fiberglass, with several small drawers towards the stern. As I was telling you, there is always plenty of space to store objects, and we will see it inside the cabin when we enter later. While there are 3 driving seats, and look here, with a dedicated single bolster. In this way, each user can choose whether to steer and stay here in the driving position in traditional mode, or use it as a back support, also integrating the fixed backrest present towards the stern. So I put myself in command. I see that I have the rudder within easy reach, rudder with dedicated display for Salpa. Look, we also have the switches here, which therefore allow quick access to all the functions installed here on the rudder itself. And here we have instead the dashboard with 3 Raymarine multifunction displays with integrated home automation. Look here, we can choose practically any onboard user. We can control and monitor the entire boat directly from the dashboard or from inside the cabin, or as I was telling you, via smartphone and tablets. Look here, I'll give you an example. I turn off the T-top lights and it runs immediately. Look at the elegance here, also with the LED strips that follow the entire profile of the T-top and therefore ensure lighting at night. Returning to the driving position, we obviously have all the dedicated instrumentation with the VHF, 2 convenient cup holders. Here is the instrument supplied by Yamaha to monitor the engine. Here the bow thruster, the switches for the main controllers, anchor windlass and anchor and navigation lights with relative horn. Here we have the button panel also supplied by Yamaha to control the autopilot and the main functions of the engines. And here instead there is the joystick, which therefore allows you to choose which direction to make the boat go. Simply move the joystick and rotate it, and the engines they will govern autonomously. Obviously there is also the dedicated start and stop of all 3 motors, the windshield wiper controller, and here we have the double power throttle that is easily reachable. At the bottom there is a convenient glove compartment that can also be used as a shoe rack, but above all as a toto. And look at the visibility, really at the highest levels, because look at the large windshield here. There is the compass, which can be easily monitored at the top. And obviously, as I was telling you, as there is no obstacle to the view because the uprights unload laterally, we can have a practically 360-degree view on a boat of this size. We move towards the bow. We see that there are two steps to reduce the difference in height, but the guardrail installed here on the fiberglass profile also comes in handy. There is an additional mooring cleat, which is always retractable for more practical use, and climbing onto the gangway, look here at the fully preserved width. We are well protected by the rail and can therefore reach the bow area. And also look here at the portholes provided by Lumar and shaped to measure. Look here, with a clean profile to the eye. In this way we practically have a single glass window without any type of external seal. The bow area is entirely covered with cushions thanks to the central sun deck, with a fixed inclination to use it as a chaise longue or as a traditional sun deck. And above all, we are always well protected as per the Salpa philosophy inside the sun deck, because look here, there is the raised upholstery with integrated cup holders to give us even greater safety, and obviously the handrail also installed here in the bow area. So we walk freely. Look here also at the courtesy lights, which are also installed on the entire deck level in the cockpit and towards the stern. And look here at how large the bow area is with the manhole installed centrally, but we will see it when entering the cabin. While here there is a very large dedicated hatch. Look, lifting it allows us to access the windlass. Windlass with anchor therefore present inside the hawse eye, which can be easily monitored from the control station with dedicated camera. Look here, also the presence of the supports for the suspensions, because the entire boat can be lifted using 4 suspensions, therefore a truly incredible system, as well as having a very deep compartment, which is very convenient for stowing all the onboard fenders, for example. The bow completes the layout. Resin bow, as you can see, because the tubes end in this front area with double cleat for mooring. Also look at the non-slip surface supplied with the synthetic teak installed as standard on board. There is the shower for rinsing in the front area, while here there is a hatch which also allows you to quickly reach the quick release of the anchor and therefore prevent accidental ignitions. And above all, also be able to inspect the inside of the compartment, as well as having a lot of storage space in this case too. We return towards the stern using the contralateral gangway, because as I was telling you, the deck is symmetrical, so we have 2 exactly mirrored gangways. And we then enter inside the cabin. The entrance to the cabin takes place on the left side of the control station. Look here at the painted steel handrail profile, which therefore allows an excellent grip. And there is the sliding door with ball rollers, which therefore allow easy access on board, and above all it is very simple. There is no risk of the door being blocked during the opening phase. Let's see inside. There are 4 steps to reduce the difference in height, but here too this comfortable handle comes in handy. Also look at the design profile, which follows different angles, precisely to allow easier access on board. With on the left side the display that replicates the onboard instruments of the control station. The entire onboard interface is home automation. We can control it both from a smartphone and a tablet, even from home. And look here, we also have the camera, which therefore allows you to monitor the outside of the boat and configure it according to our liking, because there are all the onboard interfaces. Here on the left, there is a very deep piece of furniture with several shelves to store all the objects. And when entering inside, we see that immediately on the left there is the linear sofa with lots of sidewall units. In this way, all the objects find their place, so we can have the entire cabin free from any type of clutter. At the top there is natural brightness thanks to the double glazing and flush portholes that we saw externally, which therefore allow adequate air recirculation, but obviously there is also air conditioning. And look at the internal height here immediately. Incredible height that even exceeds 2 meters here in the main portion, which therefore allows you to fully experience the boat without any kind of difficulty. Let's go back to showing the layout on board. Look here. There is a cabinet with a dedicated cup holder inside for the glasses, because the boat allows really good performance with the engines. So we can keep the glasses in their place and therefore face even the most wavy sea without objects being able to slip away. Towards the bow there is the master cabin. Master cabin with double bed, and look here. Clean design to the eye with lots of brightness. Thanks also to the LED lights present practically in any point of the internal cabin. And above all, there is a system that allows to turn all the lights on and off, and above all, we can dim them. We can choose the adjustment of all the lights. In this way, each user, each person on board can choose the configuration they prefer. There is also no lack of internal space here because look, there are the wall units that offer a lot of space. Also look at the design because there are different curvatures, different inclinations to give a more modern line to the interior. And the brightness with the sea view thanks to the curtains that we can dose, and above all the windows that allow us to have a full source of light, which also go hand in hand with the manhole present up there, which obviously can be modulated thanks to the curtain to obscure the light source. Below the bed there are also two drawers. Look at the depth here too, to store all the clothing. While here on the sides there are two cabinets, which not only allow you to hang the clothes thanks to the hangers, but there is also a system of mirrors that allow you to prepare and look at yourself. Look, totally standing, so we can use it exactly as if it were a home mirror. And above all, we have a double bottom. In this way it remains blocked thanks to the internal clip, and therefore also in this case with wavy sea, we don't have any kind of problem. Let's return to the center of the hull. Look at the design of the doors here. Flush doors without any type of frame, therefore clean to the eye. As you can see, once they are closed it seems like a single wall, with only the sharp cut to indicate the presence of the door. On the starboard side there is the bathroom. Bathroom obviously in a dedicated cabin with sink placed on the side, the toilet positioned towards the stern, and also look up at the presence of the glass window, with relative porthole. And obviously here too we have the curtain, while next to the sink there is a large countertop support. Look here, what a really good surface, with a very deep drawer, which also follows the lines of the hull. Look here, it is specifically designed to exploit the maximum possible depth on board, with wall units here too to increase the space for storing objects inside the bathroom. Separately towards the bow there is the shower cabin. Shower cabin with dedicated door, here we have the shower head, while there we have the mixer. Here too there is no shortage of doors for leaving objects inside the shower, and above all, look, they are painted differently since there is a shower, they are constantly wet, and therefore to prevent them from deteriorating over time, while at the top there is a curtain also made of plastic which obviously hides the porthole for air recirculation inside the shower. The shower head is at the top, and especially look at the internal height, fully usable, fully livable, with obviously also in this case the dimmable LED light as in the entire cabin. Obviously the presence of the support surface here which we can use as a fixed seat is not missing, and obviously the presence of the drain grate for the shower pit at the bottom. Let's go back to the stern because look here. Below the deck there is the guest cabin. Guest cabin with full height entrance, therefore fully livable, fully usable. There is a step down to give greater depth. We immediately see that on the left upon entering there is this hallway with a single-seater sofa. Immediately on the left a very large wardrobe. Also here, look, very large, where you can store all your clothing. And also in this case we have the mirror system that we saw in the owner's cabin, so we can also live in this other cabin independently. Continuing towards the stern, there is a first area where the height is reduced, but it still remains usable because all you need to do is get down on your knees and access the inside of the guest cabin. Guest cabin with twin beds in this layout, but obviously the extension is available to have a single, rather large double bed. Here too, there is no lack of air conditioning which is present inside all the cabins of the boat, with side cabinets that follow the profile and layout of those installed in the owner's cabin. Well, look here, it goes up later, so I can stand completely even in the guest cabin. Therefore, the height is 1.75 meters, which makes the boat perfectly usable for 4 people. And by adding the aft cabin, we even get to 6 people in a boat, with a decidedly sporty and modern layout at the same time. And here too there are two portholes, to ensure the recirculation of air on one side and the other, with relative curtain to manage the brightness. The internal layout is completed by the presence of cabinets, to further increase the space for storage, which are also added to the two lockers positioned under the beds in the guest cabin. And so dear friends, this is the Salpa Soleil 52. As always, if you liked the video, I invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page, leave a like and tag the people you think might be interested. And as always, for all the next videos, we'll always see you here on the C Team.